But shout out to those guys. I know that they are super hungry to be here, and hopefully for the next international tournament, be it Worlds or something else, that they will get their time to shine. But here we go, into the first draft of this series. FPX will be on blue side. And what are the chances that Tian first picks Lee Sin? Like, maybe
Please
it happens.
No.
Maybe it
Please
happens.
no.
He's got a skin for the champion.
I don't care. That doesn't matter. That's not a thing you can do right now. And we are going to see Trundle banned. Varus has to be banned on red. FPX not going to ban away that one. And I think we should see a Syndra ban.
Yep.
It is. And so what we expected does come true.
100%. Now, Top Esports thinking about what they're going to ban away next. Karma going to be taken away from Doinb, of course, was a big pick for him in their last best of 5. I think he played it in at least 2 games back-to-back. Ezreal taken off the board here by FPX and Top Esports, looking at Graves and Kalista as their next options. Aphelios is also looming, but Top decide that nothing is their preference as far as bans.
What?
I think that might be a bug on our end, as Aphelios is being locked in here. Okay, Rumble was banned.
Yeah, Galio, Rumble, those are things you can target against Doinb. You have a limited amount of bans on red side because you have to ban Varus, so they just go ahead and use 2 other bans on Doinb, and that goes down, but that leaves Aphelios available.
Yeah.
But the highly contested Thresh in the bottom side for the support pick.
I love this.
Going to be first pick by Top Esports.
I actually really like this because one of the preferred supports for the Aphelios, especially in this tournament, has been the Thresh. As 369 goes back towards another negating Ornn pick here for the top side of the map. Sort of stops Khan from having too much fun, to be perfectly honest, but does open some doors for Khan's very famous split pushes, like his Camille, like his Fiora. I think his Fiora's, he's probably one of the best Fioras to exist in League of Legends. But I'm not sure whether he's going to be able to pick that one up just yet. Nautilus being considered, and Tian's going to lock it away for Crisp. So just another hooking style CC bot, but doesn't have the all-important AD carry repositioning tool of the Lantern.
Yeah, just gotta try to use his big body to get in the way, essentially, and protect his AD carry. As Olaf is going to come in here, it's good into the CC that they have already, although I'm sure LS is back at home, scratching his head, as if the Olaf does get behind, he's, you know, doesn't matter how much CC he can avoid, he's probably just going to press Ragnarok and then run away. So definitely need to get off on the right foot here for Tian.
Oh, JackeyLove taunting us with a potential Vayne pick. Not going to happen just yet. Thresh Kalista could come in, but instead it's the JackeyLove special. He loved this. In the final, will be the misfortune out once again. Haven't seen too much of her. So far this tournament's been all about the Aphelios, the Kalista, the Ezreal, and of course the Varus. But JackeyLove, we remember, certainly a big fan of the Bullet Time Lady. Set going to be banned away here, and I'm looking at the FPX draft, and I'm thinking that there could be some funny business. Doinb popularized the Nautilus mid many moons ago, and he could be back on it here in this game, and then the Yuumi could be picked up for Crisp, which pairs very well with the Olaf. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Yuumi pick up here for FPX. I think it'd actually be really intelligent. But we'll see what Top Esports are going to do, because they can still ban it away. They're not going to, though, as there's the Twisted Fate taken away from Doinb.
Yeah, seems like they're not reading into the potential flex of the Nautilus just yet, but you're right. I mean, that can be used here by FPX. That's one way we noted that they can get ahead of Top Esports is through the pick ban and doing some funny business, as Lee Sin actually does get banned on the final ban. That does leave Graves wide open.
And now we're looking to see what kind of champions Khan and Doinb or Crisp are going to be playing this game. I want the Fiora, man. I think Khan's Fiora would just be so good here. But instead, going for a different type of scale up against the Ornn option, and the Kayle is going to be locked in. And Doinb going to deny us all of that fun, as the Galio will be his choice in that mid lane as far as a blind pick. And maybe feeling like something like the Galio could be better than a blind Nautilus mid.
They could use some AP here on the side of top esports. They already have Graves and MF. And so I don't think we're going to be seeing Aurelia to leave. Ornn as the only AP kind of damage, was very low amount of damage. So we are going to be going with Corki here. Let's pick up a Cull, survive, farm against that more defensive Galio. You can always Valkyrie away from his engages. I think it's a great pick. It's something that Knight is obviously fantastic on as well. Something he's very comfortable with. So it's going to be FPX's kind of strange, tanky boys plus invulnerability for LWX, and they also have that, secondary super late game carry in the Kayle, who can split push pretty well once he gets, 3-4 items, up against a more balanced draft from the side of top esports, but which also does have an immense amount of scaling. So I think this might be a little bit more of a slower game here, Atlas.
I think so too. I think especially if you have a look at the top lane, Ornn and Kayle are all about let's try and get to level 18 as soon as possible, both of them for different reasons. But I think FPX's draft is really interesting. I love the fact that even though they didn't have the option of something like a Yuumi or a Soraka or a Karma to boost up the Olaf, they do have now the Kayle ulti. They've got Galio to come in and support as well, who now offers Olaf a magic shield up against Corki or the Ornn that are going to be dishing out a fair bit of magic damage this game. I actually really like it. Plus, it can also be used to keep LWX alive on this Aphelios. So a lot more options, especially as far as team fighting is concerned, but FPX are going to have to play it out well. And if the form of top esports continues, I think it is still going to be a difficult one here for this squad.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Karsa does on Graves. A very different pick from the Lee Sin. See if he can farm it out.
Yeah, well, let's do it. Let's get into game number 2. All right, for you FPX fans out there, I've got a stat for you. Knight, the only champion that he's lost on so far this tournament was Corki. So there you go.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yep. There it is.
Well, I don't know. I think that Corki is really going to get obnoxious once this game comes along, because the hard engage from FPX is great. You get the Nautilus in there, you get the Olaf running at you, you follow up with the Galio, and you try to fight front to back with Kayle and Aphelios filling in from behind, doing the damage. But the Corki is really great against that because he can poke you down. He can be such a nuisance. Once he picks up rapid fire cannon, he can begin to, even just auto-missile you. And against, especially if he finds Aphelios in the mix, or even some of these tanky guys are going to struggle to survive against that amount of poke from just a singular champion. I think if Knight gets ahead in this one, we might just see another Knight player of the game performance, although I guess he didn't pick up the player of the game last time around. But we'll have to wait and see what he does go for. As lethal tempo is going to be the choice here. We're seeing that a lot more on Corkis nowadays. No more fleet footwork. That rune feels kind of underpowered nowadays compared to some other runes. Players have kind of moved away from it.
Also, you don't really need it as much against the Galio, who's not going to be harassing him in the lane. So you may as well just go for the more offensive late game choice in the lethal tempo. I don't mind it. JackeyLove and yuyanjia, we'll see how they navigate this lane. Bottom side is 369, going to be smacking Khan around just a little bit. As Doinb now in trouble. You see, this is why you don't need fleet footwork. Because if you don't take damage, why do you need a heal?
Yeah, especially in these early levels where it's still going to be range versus melee, right? So Doinb is just like, I guess I got to use my Qs on the minions, which means that Corki doesn't receive any damage. And he can just have a pretty free lane. And it's part of the reason why he does pick up the Cull. You can see the Graves trying to avoid the ward that they saw that was put down. And that can be very interesting to see where he goes from here. Will he just go straight to red? It looks like it. I mean, I think he could have even gone for a little bit of a cheesy gank and go straight top side, but with no red buff, maybe not going to go for that just yet.
Although it looks like he is going to head up there. Opportunistic gank opportunity.
After the red.
Opportunistic opportunity. Makes some sense there as Karsa's going to be spotted on this wall, but you can see how far pushed up.
Oh!
Khan is, oh no, not going to be knocked up, but 369 still going for it. Red buff goes down, smoke screen to slow them. As he's in between the minions, it's absolutely not what you want on Karsa's side. Tanking up the turret and first blood goes to the Kayle. Oh my, could it have been any worse? Well, yes it can, ladies and gentlemen, because 369 is now in trouble. Doinb teleports in, and 369 is just wandering down towards his mid laner, and he's not going to make it to safety. Knight barely gets out of that lane. Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, yuyanjia down to 200 health, as FPX winning down there as well, and this is what we wanted to see. This is the kind of competitiveness opportunity that we had, as LWX does get a bit of CC down. Top Esports going to have to be careful with this Infernum combo. It is keeping Crisp alive at any rate.
Well, there's no secret. Karsa showed his cards straight up for everybody to see. He just got really greedy, right? He's feeling overconfident. He's like, oh, we can push for the kill. But it's very common for Olaf to go for a full clear and end up at the top side of the map at that time. So if you're going for that, you're not respecting.
Double buffs on Kayle, by the way, guys.
Yeah, that's fun.
Oh, God. Absolutely not what you want.
He was just not respecting the Olaf, plus the teleport that eventually came in from Doinb kind of sealed the deal. Although I think he would have just died to the Olaf anyway. And just good support by the side of FPX to get there on time, and some greediness from Karsa is going to set them back. That does mean that maybe FPX can begin to start their snowball going.
Oh, precisely. I don't think it couldn't have been better for Khan up here. As we have a look at this one more time, as Karsa is going to meet his worst enemy, which is a minion wave. As you can see, Graves he hates me. I think he actually missed that end of the line as well, as Khan just played him like a fiddle there. That's not what you want to see, as the Graves is, okay, what? Good night. I don't know what that was. This is going to be the longest lasting double buffs that we've ever seen.
Oh, man.
It's Knight's turn.
He must not have checked the brush for the ward, and, you know, maybe some people that were top esports fans were saying, oh, man, Knight, why didn't you come and try to help? Well, that's precisely the reason, to save it for an opportunistic moment later on in the game.
You mean an opportunistic opportunity?
Opportunistic opportunity of high probability, if I say so myself.
Beautiful.
And Khan tries to poke. He takes 3 turrets hits. He's level 5. He doesn't have his ult. It's like just the alley-oop there. Handed over. Great play by 369, by the way. Really got to admire that he set up the kill, basically, and punished Khan for his greediness.
Well, Knight spots out 2 members of FPX up here. As I'm not sure how close Khan was to level 6. No, he wasn't close at all. So I thought maybe he was hoping that a minion would die, he gets 6, and then is able to complete the dive on 369. But no, he didn't. That was just a bad play. As speaking of which, this is capitalization on vision control as yuyanjia utilizing the aftershock relatively well, but I have a feeling he's still dead. Chris blocks down the kill, but now Karsa in position to try and get a kill back. Flash forward, JackeyLove has to flash away, and now Karsa might have an opportunity. Smokescreen comes in, but now you've got Severum Crescendum for LWX. You don't want to go too close to the Aphelios. Now Doinb, this is his favorite place on the map, the river. He excels in this particular terrain. And it is going to mean that top esports do back away. FPX retain control of this game. Only able to kill yuyanjia down there towards the bottom side, but they get the flash out of JackeyLove that can be very, very important.
Just trying really hard to bait that for the follow-up, but unfortunately Graves, there was another minion wave coming in, and he was not going to frontline against 3 members, so just a good capitalization there by FPX. And this is when the Kayle is going to get a little bit more annoying for 369, but he's got a lot of sustain. You know, he's got the refillable, he's got biscuits,
and he's on, right? He'll do his job. Whether or not he's going to stop Khan from doing his is going to be the big question, as FPX have started off this Infernal Drake. Will be the first one of the game. 369 just looking to clear out as many creeps as he possibly can to catch up to Khan. He's about a wave behind as we do get a reset as we check out this replay once again.
Aftershock, pretty good rune. If it wasn't in the game, you guys already would have been dead.
Yep.
So it does bait FPX pretty far down the lane, but then the real bait is JackeyLove thinking that his teammates are going to help here as well. That they didn't want us to see any more of that replay.
Yeah, that was strange. It was like, oh, there's action, but it was Knight clearing out a minion wave.
Yeah, there wasn't really anything else going on, but yeah, it was pretty much just you don't want to face check first of all, and JackeyLove losing his flash being the most important things. But top esports, you know, they love to scale with this kind of a team comp. They've got double cull already on the side of their 2 carries. No tier just yet for Corki.
Yeah, actually, I was looking at that, and do you think that maybe we're going for the old school Corki build and just going Trinity Force into IE to try and get that big 2-item power spike by around the mid-game? It would help top esports have more mid-game power without having to stack up that tier.
It's either that or he buys it second. Looks like he is going to buy it second. And, I mean, Corki's going to be spamming a lot of spells, you know, Q and R most of the time, even E. I mean, you can just kind of throw it out there. It's not very expensive. And so he's going to be able to stack that up pretty quickly. Oh, I think he missed that cannon.
Yeah.
3, 6, 9. That feels bad. And yeah, this is kind of what we were expecting, a little bit of a slower game. If this were the LCK, there'd be 0 kills so far, so at least there's 4.
Yeah. And actually, we had a fair bit of action very early, but you're right, there has been a little bit of a reset. Maybe Shelly will help us out here as top esports are going to take a plate on the bottom side. yuyanjia going to miss that hook. As Crisp, he's booking it up the river, lands the dredge line onto Knight, who has to deliver a package. He's going to go there. Which company do you think he works for? Which delivery company? FedEx?
Yeah.
I thought he looked like a bit of it. That was a DHL package.
You think so?
Yeah, that's what I was feeling.
I don't know. He delivered the package very fast.
He did.
So I'm going to say FedEx.
Okay. I mean,
hashtag sponsor. No,
I actually recently got a delivery of some rollerblading gear from the UK.
Yeah.
And it arrived in Seoul, which is, guys, roughly on the other side of the planet, in 3 days.
Huh.
During the corona epidemic as well.
It's pretty fast.
Like, that's insane. I actually didn't think it was physically possible.
They knew how important your rollerblading gear was.
Absolutely.
And that's why it arrived so quickly.
Yeah.
That's the only explanation, really.
I'm so excited about it, I ordered more. It was some retail therapy after the LCK performed so poorly yesterday, but 369 now underneath his turret, having to deal with Shelly, Tian, and Khan. Who, the more plates you get on your Kayle, the worse you're going to feel. As here's the ulti, they're going to try and lock down Khan. They get the knock up. 369 now taken down to about half health, but look at the AoE. This is ridiculous. Ragnarok coming out, and the turret survives. And that is why 369 does as well.
Yeah, good move there by Tian to just block the hook. Had it landed, I don't think it would have made too much of a difference because you just pop ultimate as Kayle and you begin to turn it around anyway.
Yep.
Tian. He doesn't have Ragnarok anyway.
Yeah, he's going to flash over to the other side looking for Crisp, and he does stand there with the backup. Karsa taking a fair bit of damage now as we've got the ulti from Khan lying in wait, so anyone who's going to be tanking this is going to be safe. Tian is going to be chosen as 369 moves on back. The turret falls down though. Now Knight comes in to try and save the day, but Khan's flashing up to 369. It's a great knock-up, but I don't know whether they have enough. The taunt's in, and there's another kill for the Kayle. Make it a double, and now Knight gets the double with the force bomb. Could this just be? It is looking like a triple kill at least.
Is that him?
As now Doinb has to run. There we go. But Khan, he splits over to the other side and denies the quadra. He literally is the hard carry of this team. Like, does top need anyone else other than Knight? Well, we're yet to find out, but we'll see. 4-0-0, all of the kills for his team.
Yeah, and the funny thing about that play is it's not Knight, you know,
being good.
Nice white flag, by the way, there from JackeyLove. It's not Knight pulling off this incredible mechanical skill, you know, just outplaying his opponent. FPX were like, we've got 5 members here. We should be able to kill this Corki, right? But then the AoE damage in their face just caught them really off guard, and now Knight is 4-0. So a play that started as amazing for FPX, where they get the turret, they get a bunch of kills, they get all the plates. They could have just backed away, but that's not the way of FPX. Great timing on the Kayle ultimate there to save Tian's life. And 369, he's desperately trying to frontline, you can see here. Looks kind of silly, but I feel like...
Knight's completely untouched.
Yeah, it ends up doing a good job. They know they can't land or lock down Knight, so they're desperate. They're like, we have to lock him down because we can't back away because we're an LPL team. And they get punished for it. I mean, now Knight, he's got that Muramana, well, Manamune for now.
I don't even think you can say that they're an LPL team. I think it's just their FPX. FPX never says no to a fight.
The worst kind of LPL team.
Yeah,
or maybe the best kind.
Maybe the best. I think it's definitely the most entertaining.
The best
Khan's
and the
going to make
worst.
his way in, as he has certainly been reveling in this more high-octane gameplay. We all know Khan for being a rambunctious gentleman, and that has not discontinued. Knight has about 1,000 gold on the next highest on the map. So now this red buff looking to be contested. I'm going to move on in, not going to find the rocket to lock down the Brambleback. And goodbye minion wave, as the LWX will take a turret shot. But he's got some shielding there from his Severum from earlier as the white flag is up.
Yeah. It's like, please, I'm all alone. My support's been in the top lane for 5 minutes now.
That's actually one of my favorite emotes in the game. It's so good. Underrated. It's really underrated. Although the Jin air emote is the best.
Yes, that's one that I have. Yeah.
It's like when you go in and fail your Lee Sin combo.
Yeah, I just make sure to flash it on the haters. They don't know. They don't know what it means.
Yeah. It's great because it's just Jin air, you know. It doesn't represent a sad plane or a glad plane. Yeah. It could be either. It's just so versatile.
Well, Knight is, he's a Corki, so the 4 kills aren't going to amount to him, chunking people down. It's not a Syndra, right? He still needs 2-3 items here, so.
I think it just means that at 20 minutes,
exactly,
he becomes even more of a big deal, right? There's that big one starting to look like it's still a problem. That's the longest hook in history.
We're going fishing.
Yeah, that was a big one. That was a big one. That's like a bluefin tuna, you have to spend a lot of time following that fish on your boat if you want to ever bring it up. And also you have to have a permit, guys. You can't just go out and fish for bluefin tuna. That's why they're so expensive. You can only fish a certain amount in the year. Yep. We are all about conservation here. To make sure that we keep our waters stocked so that we don't make everything go extinct. Sponsor a shark, guys. We need sharks.
Yes.
Please. I don't know whether you can sponsor one, but if you could,
probably.
I would.
Knight here is thinking about picking up the package, and he is going to pick that up right now, even though there's no big objective. I mean, Shirley isn't going to do much for either team. There's no Drake on the map here. Both of them have been taken by FPX already. It is Cloud Soul, by the way.
Yeah, and it's not exactly the greatest of souls. However, Knight will be able to proc the movement speed about as much as he wants to with his ultimate, so that certainly does help. Not the greatest for JackeyLove, but after a bullet time you can reposition well as Depth Charge comes in onto JackeyLove. He is going to knock up his support, but 369 comes in crisp. Dredge lines himself to relative safety, but I don't know whether it's going to be enough. Knockup comes down, Bellows Breath to make him brittle, and beautiful interrupt as Knight delivers a package to Crisp and says, look at how quickly DHL gets these things here to you. It's not true at all. I think FedEx will be absolutely fine also.
Probably.
I don't know about Amazon's delivery system or anything like that. Haven't used much of it, but I'm sure they're also great. We're unbiased when it comes to deliveries, although I don't know where the Knight is because he is the man with the big package, and you are the man that coined big package for the world.
Well, LS said it once, and I thought that was the actual name of the ability, and so I just kept saying it. And people thought I was joking every single time, like, that I never thought the joke was old, but actually I just thought that was the name of the ability for over a year.
I imagine people are sitting at home thinking, like, how could he not know what it's called? It's like, we play on the Korean client, right? We can only see it in Korean, and therefore, it's harder. You have to really do the research if you're going to know. So you just assume, and I think that's absolutely fine.
And, he's certainly got one, if we can say so right now. He's finished Trinity Force. He just went back and spent over 2,000 gold on top of his Sheen to pick that up. He's 5-0.
Well, he's actually 6-0 because he's cashed in his Cull as well. Like, as far as money is concerned, he's even stronger.
And this is just FPX again. It's like we see 80 carry of the enemy team, we go for the 80 carry of the enemy team. Look at Kayle and Aphelios on the map. Well, Come on.
Yeah.
They had vision at the left side too. They
Yeah.
saw the entire team of top esports. You can't
I know.
you can't go that deep and not expect to be punished for it when you're up against Ornn Thresh, right? Like
You
you're
can't
gonna be
an
locked down forever.
No. The way you got to think about it is you can't be an 80 carry and not expect to be depth charged if it's off cooldown.
True.
Okay?
That's the FPX. You know, if you're that kind of player, FPX is your team. And
Precisely.
they have proven that many times now
I'm a big fan.
in this game.
As top esports a little bit spread, but as are FPX. A bit of a line drawn in the sand here. Shirley is going to be taken down, but not after. She managed to get a headbutt on that outer turret mid lane. Chris very close to that dredge line, but once again the lantern very, very powerful. FPX regrouping as the hook lands onto Doinb, and the box comes down. yuyanjia immediately goes golden and denies the Moonlight Vigil to get any extra damage. JackeyLove with a great ultimate, but denied by the stopwatch of Doinb. No one's dead just yet, but some softer members of the FPX side when it comes to health bars might mean that top can deny this Drake.
Okay.
There's a dredge line though, and Crisp is saying no. That hook was beautiful, and Khan is going to take out yuyanjia. JackeyLove doing a fair bit of damage though. Khan still with the ultimate in hand. Watch for that one, because no one's going to be taken down in an instant here by TES if he is still there with the mana available. Doesn't have a lot of it, but still has at least enough for that. Now, Soul Point being threatened by FPX this time around. Looks like they are going to be able to do so, but Chris might be the sacrificial lamb. No, ulti goes down from Khan. The AoE damage is in, an FPX behind this Kayle decimate top esports. Even Knight unable to mechanics his way out of this one.
Oh man, that was just such a big taunt flash, or flash taunt, I guess, from the Galio on that one. He got on top of the Corki. And you can see what top esports were trying to do. They were saying, okay, they're split up. Maybe we can catch one of them and, you know, just back away if they went a little bit too deep. But it all starts, you know, top esports, they say, hey, we got the follow-up engage here with the Ornn, but stopwatch, a great item. I would recommend it. It's only $6.50 in the shop. As more action.
LWX is dead, guys. What? This just happens to... Like, how was he there? How?
yuyanjia still has flash. It's not like he got flashed on. LWX has flash too, by the way.
JackeyLove has a backdoor bonus turret that he's taking down. Does sacrifice half of his health bar, but he's under no threat right now. But as you can see, 2,000 gold is the lead here for top esports. FPX with only a Cloud Soul available, so not exactly the biggest value here for top esports to fret about. But let's have a look at this team fight once again. This is the biggest problem. It's just that FPX's composition team fights so well.
This is the rest of the story of what happened earlier. Great play by Chris. Had to burn a splash for it, and then you can see what top esports are doing. They say, okay, 3 people are on the Drake. Maybe we can catch one person off. But Kayle, you know, that invulnerability is really good. And Galio is able to get in there and lock down with the taunt, a couple of those damage dealers. As LWX, I mean, this is really dumb.
What
okay?
the hell is he doing,
You don't do
man?
this. You can't be that far down the lane. He doesn't have any vision on the left side at all.
Yeah. Well, we're fighting again. Every time we get a replay, it has to be a fight, as that heroic entrance was fantastic. The double taunt to follow up, but knockup comes through from 369. The bottom lane have already been taken down. 369 considering still fighting, but another taunt through from Doinb. 369 now going to have to try and get the heck out of there. Doesn't have flash, remember, and there's 4 members, so LWX easily grabs that kill. Remember, guys, LWX also managed to get the shutdown onto Knight, so he is very, very, very rich. Oh, actually, you know.
Was it LWX? I thought it was Kayle.
Oh, I thought I saw the 700 go up on his head. Never mind. Probably was Kayle, because he has 2,000 more gold, so I think you might be right.
And, yeah, I mean, turrets are not going to save you from this comp, right? You got to respect the ability of Nautilus Galio to engage on you, and that they did not.
Yeah.
As was very clear in that replay. You know, Corki was nowhere to be found. I think he was doing the red buff at the time, so not exactly his fault. You got to respect the engage.
And Khan is a Rage Blade away from having the optimal items for this Kayle. He is very, very scary. With 58 CS advantage at the moment. And as you see, a 500 gold bounty. 6, 1, and 4. This is the Khan that we were expecting to turn up here in this series, because it's what he did to top esports the first time they met on day 1. Popping on over here does have the package ready to be delivered. just needs to get some addresses, I think, now, and find some signatures. Hasn't been told that he can just leave it at the door or anything like that, so needs to make sure that he's doing it by the book. Karsa moves on up, 369 here with the Krugs. And he's going to be gifted over some of that money, obviously, looking for his Abyssal Mask. Wants it as soon as possible. But yeah, Knight is very, very strong. So that is the good news here for top. It is only a 2,000 gold lead, 2.5. You want to be pedantic.
Get it right.
Yeah, sorry about this. I apologize. I know you're used to me being so succinct with everything that I say.
Exactly.
But no, Khan is the problem on the side of FPX, though, and I just think that Kayle, in a late game scenario, when he's had an early game this good, I think that Kayle, she's just too strong. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of going to be the fight of Knight versus Khan, and at this point, I would have to imagine that FPX will have the advantage, especially because FPX have relatively painlessly been able to get their Kayle to basically level 16, as long as they, you know, just back off and don't do anything, you know, a little bit boneheaded at this point. You know, you don't have to force a fight on the one Cloud Drake. By the way, FPX, might be a good idea to just send your Kayle to a side lane, wait until they hit level 16, and then get the next one. But we'll see if they listen at this point, because, again, they could still set up a nice little flank here. They have Doinb on the top side.
Doinb doesn't even... Oh, yeah, this actually could be bad news. Great ward. Yeah, that ward over to the side is certainly going to be helping out here. As 369 going to throw through the Ram. It is stolen away, so Cloud Soul is denied, and that's a very early ultimate used on a retreating Olaf. Not exactly what you want, but Knight was picked out and destroyed. Yep, the team fight just too good. Heroic entrance there just for some fun, and look at all of these magic damage shields. JackeyLove gets dredge-lined, and Crisp is back in form after it was the yuyanjia show in game number 1. Crisp certainly getting his money worth here this time around as Karsa
get him!
To an yield reach around here, flashes forward, end of the line for Crisp, my friend. Yeah, aptly named ability, that one. And that is just backing in the wrong spot, but Baron still should be a guarantee here for FPX. So it's not all bad news as they lose their star support from the last team fight. Baron's taken, and FPX are looking to start their onslaught in this series. Karsa at least takes the big bucket of popcorn chicken. Let's have a look at it once again.
Yeah, you can see Doinb, you know, he doesn't get the flank that he wants, but you are Olaf, you can Ragnarok, you can get ulted by Kayle. And Knight was too far forward, just straight up. It was the play from Doinb that opened up the follow-ups for Crisp. And once you take away the Corki, I mean, he's really the only Fed member on your team. So pretty straightforward from there. They have a great front-to-back fighting team composition with Doinb and Crisp in the front, and everybody else just following it up with Undertows and all that good stuff from Olaf. So, again, the Cloud Soul, I'm not sure if Top Esports necessarily had to fight for that one, but I think it's a bit more of like, we don't want to wait until Kayle is level 16 and then fight over something like an Elder.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, this is a pretty good chance for us. Maybe we can deny the soul and get a good start. As we've seen Doinb, we can, you know, he's going to be delayed from entering the fight for a little bit here. But did not pan out for them as Knight did get caught out.
Also, Knight without any defensive itemization whatsoever. Next one going to be an Infinity Edge as well. So his 4 items will be a lot of damage, but if he just gets completely destroyed every fight, it's not actually going to matter. As 369 taking a fair bit of damage there actually from the Winds of War. Despite getting some upgrades, knock-up not going to land there onto Doinb as 369 is still pretty tanky. And now the Ornn going to come out. Khan with the ultimate on himself, and now not going to be able to use that in the next team fight as his turret is just barely staying alive, but double siege minions will be able to get rid of it. Base not broken just yet, though, and if Khan can have his ultimate forced before every team fight, Top Esports may stand a chance. But he's level 15 at the moment, about to ascend to the highest heights possible. Like Tyrael from Diablo, but going the other way around.
Yeah, I don't play much Diablo, but I see what you're saying.
I like throwing down pop culture references for you to not understand. It's my favorite thing to do.
Do other games count as pop culture references? I guess they do.
Yeah, of course.
As long as they're like popular games, right? Because that's where the pop comes in, right?
I mean, that also comes in like soda.
True.
And
we don't
rice
call
bubbles.
it pop from where I'm from.
No, I don't call it pop either. That's actually the name of your grandpa.
Yes. Yeah, that makes more sense to me. But yeah, we've kind of slowed down from here. After that fight, you can see that Knight is a little bit more abated. He's not going to be frontlining anymore, although he did almost kill the Kayle.
Yeah,
but
he has the Trinity Fusion now as well, so doing a fair bit of damage.
By the next time they fight, Khan is going to be level 16. Knight is already level 16.
Oh, he's 16
Khan gets
now.
it now. And
that's so many wings.
Oh, they might look for the play here. Fail on the knockup. They're trying to bait him in, you can see, but it's not going to pan out.
Yep. A very scary prospect. Even 1 versus 3, I would be a little bit frightened. Especially with the items that he has picked up for himself. 600 gold bounty on his head as well, so you can see why he is a juicy target as Knight picks up a package. He's done so many deliveries here today, but none of them really paying off. Top Esports certainly struggling at the hands of FPX. It's not quite a 6,000 gold lead yet.
Maybe just alt LWX in the mid lane.
Yeah.
They have really good vision control, actually. Look at this. There's no vision for FPX. And oh, here you go.
Yeah, package delivered. Khan is going to ult. Knight says that he does not care. And maybe he has to, as it is going to be 1-for-1. Doinb comes in with the ultimate, and I don't know why Knight completely disrespected the Kayle damage when she was invulnerable, but he 100% did. Still, that money is taken, and Crisp is yuyanjia also going to die. So not worth in any way, shape, or form. As FPX now going to grab themselves a very simple Cloud Soul, and I think this is the beginning of the end. I was saying a lot of things like, yeah, but what if this? What if this? Yeah, nah, what if nothing at the moment? I think it's looking like the game's pretty over, and FPX is looking to even out this series.
And they're going to pick up the Cloud Soul here, and it's going to be great for their follow-up engage. Yep, there's just no vision here, so pretty straightforward, but you'll take a look at how long the invulnerability lasts on the Kayle at this point. I think Knight was almost not even expecting it because he's like, wait, are you still invulnerable here? And
yeah.
So even though Knight does an incredible amount of damage, it doesn't matter if you can't land the damage. And
yeah, I mean,
there you do go. He baits in his Thresh at the same time, as the follow-up from Galio is always going to be swift, as well as Crisp, who gets there on time.
I mean, Brennan, he does have 4 items now. The Infinity Edge has been completed, and now QSS is done as well. Can get out of things like that pesky taunt and something like that. Not a lot of other usefulness for it, though.
That's nice. A free Ragnarok here.
Very free. I don't even know whether that was entirely necessary. Ow.
Yeah, he thought he was going to get hooked, and if he did get hooked, I think, you know, he might have been able to be burst down or at least be forced to flash, and so instead of that, he just pops Ragnarok, but he didn't even get hooked, so
yeah,
it was kind of unfortunate that it was a bit of a waste there, but it's a very low cooldown, and with Cloud Soul, I mean, it's already halfway back, so it's not the biggest deal. He'll have it for the next fight, unless Top Esports wanted to really just force the Baron right away. They do have a hell of a lot of damage.
Yeah,
I mean, it's insane what they have, especially with Graves in the jungle alongside of 280 carries. So they're not going to do it just yet. We'll back away. The split push from Khan is pretty scary at this point.
He's going to eat through that turret in no time at all. Now with the Banshee's Veil completed also for that extra safety. And now FPX, they move over to the Baron with Khan on the bottom side, teleported to ready. It's exactly the kind of map play that you want and what we should expect out of our 2019 World Champions. Back goes Knight. He's the one that's going to try and stop Khan. And the Baron once again restarted. Knight has his teleport as well as Doinb. He's making his way in. Top Esports can get rid of these wards, but now Doinb diving in just to buy some time for his team as now the Baron goes down. It is taken by FPX, but can the ensuing fight be won by them as well, as the Galio does go golden and he's going to flash immediately to get out of this one, and his health bar just keeps repairing itself. Meanwhile, bottom side of the map, you can see Khan getting aggressive onto Knight. Top Esports don't lose anyone, but they do lose the Baron.
Yeah, they had no real way to get over the wall. Other compositions might have been able to, you know, get a Lee Sin over the wall, or Graves can dash over the wall and do some damage. So top esports were actually using that Baron wall really well. As the fight for the blue will be won by the Corki. Yeah, does pick that one up, and still the Baron going the way of FPX is quite valuable. I think they can just set up a 4-1 split with the Kayle in the side lane. As we're going to take a look here, in the beginning it looks like Doinb is kind of just inting in by himself, but he's very tanky at this point.
Good distracting play as well, really liked it.
Yeah.
Bullet time was opportunistic there from JackeyLove, trying to get the opportunity of a steal and also soften up the members of FPX, but didn't ultimately do anything in the end. But I haven't lost anyone.
LWX was in the pit, just like, he misses Moonlight Vigil, and he's like, oh, wait, I have to run all the way around now if I want to do any damage. So there wasn't really any follow-up from the side of FPX, even though they did take the objective.
Ow. Yeah, that Valkyrie probably wanted to be a little bit earlier, but that was just one auto attack that took a quarter of Knight's health bar. Khan, now that he's fully ascended, is absolutely terrifying, and Doinb getting to work on this top side. 1-3-1 working out very well here for FPX, especially with this Baron buff. And this bottom inhibitor turret is going to be falling down. Knight just got back from the fountain, and once again gets chunked out by the Kayle, being run around here at top esports as FPX turn their attention to the mid lane. Karsa taken down relatively low, but Doinb doesn't have a huge health bar to work with. There's Knight now, another Valkyrie necessary. Tian lands an undertow. I mean, any sort of slow is really scary. As Crisp just have his flash on cooldown now.
Okay.
Oh god, just does so much damage. 369 unable to throw the ram back either. As Doinb jumps on down, just squashes the little Thresh, and it's a double kill here for Khan. Karsa going to suffer the same fate here as LWX joins the party, and FPX will even out the series with a win in game number 2. We had an inkling that maybe having a draft phase may help out FPX, and it in fact absolutely did. On the back of that gigantic Kayle that got the best start possible and also played it out very well all the way until the end. Khan just demonstrating that day one should not be forgotten.
Yeah, absolutely. Really got to hand it to them, FPX, for turning it around there. They were very active in the early game, and struggling who to give this player of the game to. I mean, Khan did so much once he did get fed, but I feel like Doinb was all over the map. I don't know. I'll give it to Khan.
Just give it to the guy that plays Kayle, you know? I think that's the fun
He did
stuff.
the damages, and he pressed the buttons.
Yeah, and that's what League of Legends is all about. Pressing buttons, doing damages, looking at the graph after the game and being like, yeah, that's right.
I'm going to play Kayle. Solo queue, I got to pick that up.
No. If you're playing solo queue, just play Varus, dude. If you want to see those big numbers, playing mid, playing bot, you'd be
Varus
fine.
Doesn't really get banned that often either. Like, people just say, no, we can handle it in solo queue, so kind of interesting. But yeah, gotta hand it to FPX. Much better performance that time around. Even though they fed Knight 5 kills on his Corki, it still didn't matter.
The team comp was
their
just too good.
composition was much better in the late game. That Kayle,
and it just shows like the Kayle Galio combination is just so good, because if any of the targets get focused, you can't kill them for like 4 seconds, no matter what, right? And if you stay in there for too long, heroic entrance eventually happens, and if you are overcommitting, you are going to get completely capitalized on. So really, really good stuff out from FPX, and we'll see whether they can continue to do so as we move further forward in the series. But let's check out some highlights here from game number 2. See how this all happened as Karsa gets ultimately trolled by this minion wave. Graves' best friend, of course, as you guys know. I still think that maybe that end of the line, he like flashed over the Kayle and then pressed end of the line, which is real bad news. This was also a bit of a whoopsie, one could say.
Yeah, it's good play by 369, and then this is the rotation up to the top side. That was really great. I mean, you could see that everybody on the side of top esports kind of floundering, and they get picked off one by one. Ornn desperately trying to frontline, and it does eventually work, but it almost felt like too little too late, as this double kill it's cute, it looks nice, and he does actually pick up the triple kill, but Corki can't do it all alone because the rest of his team was kind of absent after that early game.
Yeah, and also there was just too much of an answer for what top esports trying to do in team fights. 369 did not really have any impact on the Ornn this game, and it just felt like Top's teamfight was just way worse in almost every way. They were trying to do the same thing, they just didn't do it as well. See, yeah, now you can get a knockup onto an Olaf, but he goes invulnerable, and then Doinb comes in, and you've got to take his entire health bar as well. Like, it's just too hard.
It's kind of why I wanted to vote for Doinb. I feel like his Galio in team fights is just, it's way too much to handle.
Yeah.
Game number 1, they were able to neutralize it because Knight got so far ahead on the Syndra, and the Syndra will handle it a little bit better. As by the end of the game, I mean, there's just, you know, level 18 Kayle with 5 items probably, so not much they can do at this point. But really, it was Doinb setting up those plays in the beginning of the game and the mid game. I mean, all of his taunts in the team fights were perfect. He was always finding Knight, and he was always doing that. Of course, the damage number for Kayle is going to look ridiculous, but that's actually a pretty high number for Galio as well, given the champion.
Yeah, I can actually see it going to Doinb this game. I think that his control of teamfights was definitely good. I think, you know, Khan played a very good Kayle, apart from that one int underneath the turret very early on in the game, but sometimes you need a cheeky int underneath the turret at the beginning of a game.
Get it out of your system.
Yeah, precisely. So it's can't be something that you really hold against him, in my personal opinion. So Khan played very well, but also FPX just as a whole played very, very well. I actually think that even the bottom lane did exactly what they needed to do. I think the Nautilus out of Crisp was much better this time around than his performance on the Thresh in game number 1. So looking forward to seeing who grabs it, and it is going to be Khan on the Kayle. Congratulations. 36% of his team's damage. Huge kill participation for a top laner as well, and the KDA says it all. So, yeah, Khan coming out and having a bit of a repeat performance of day number 1, FPX versus top.
Yeah, he's certainly the guy you want to put on carries nowadays. You can see that he's going to survive against this gank, which, I mean, I think they just back away after this. You don't have to get in here. This really set Karsa pretty far behind, and it gave double buff to Khan, which eventually did get onto the Corki, but didn't matter too much. You can see Doinb goes in with the flash taunt there, locks down Knight, and I believe the MF at the same time. But Knight, once he was in a position to carry, his mechanics really shone. And I feel like that's part of the reason why he did earn the player of the game here in this one. Multiple times he was just able to, you know, it's not easy, you know, Kayle's got really high attack speed, you know, to land all of the potential damage that you do have in your kit can be difficult, but Khan is the right guy to do it. Oh yeah, he did perform there as he ends the game here.